Now, you'll recall we spoke last night about Anthony Albanese positioning himself as some sort of intermediary in the peace plan put forward by Donald Trump to end the war in Gaza. Now, if peace is ever found in the Middle East, it certainly would have nothing to do with Anthony Albanese nor Penny Wong masquerading as foreign policy experts on the world stage. Yet the PM welcomed the deal today on the table like he was the one dictating the terms.
Australia has long called for a ceasefire. We have called for the hostages to be released and for Hamas to give up its arms.
Oh, so what it was all the Prime Minister of Australia, was it? Yeah, it's if he's played a role because he's called for a ceasefire a couple of times. Now, this is a bloke who has spent the past 2 weeks living out his boyhood fantasy on the world stage in recognising a Palestinian state for a state that doesn't even exist, and now welcomes and pats himself on the back for Donald Trump actually offering up a genuine deal to bring peace to the conflict, to bring an end to it. But gee, the ego of Albo knows no bounds. The Prime Minister has sat down for an interview with 9 newspapers on his private jet while on his way back home from his worldwide odyssey. The paper says Albanese cut a casual figure in a New South Wales Blues State of Origin jersey with his name on the back. Team Albo all the way, all about himself in more ways than one. And that is the very problem. The Prime Minister is now outwardly nominating himself as the catalyst for the Gaza peace deal. Anthony Albanese says Australia's decision to recognise a Palestinian state actually helped encourage Israel and the US to agree to the peace plan. He says, undoubtedly, it was motivated by positive momentum. I said when I spoke originally about our intention to recognise that we would do so at a time that helped to create the momentum and that it couldn't just be a gesture. Now, this is truly extraordinary, truly. This Prime Minister actually thinks he has created momentum for peace? When you think about it, it's actually astonishing to try and get your head around. What momentum is he talking about? Because his woeful and weak grandstanding has actually halted efforts to end the war. Don't forget, Hamas has, on multiple occasions, praised this Prime Minister. This deal is on the table not because of Anthony Albanese and his lefty friends rewarding terror on the world stage and recognising a Palestinian state. It's not because Anthony Albanese has called for a ceasefire 100 times. The only pathway to peace has been because of Israel's sustained military operation, which has slowly dismantled Hamas and its operations, something Anthony Albanese and Penny Wong have warned against. Wong even called for restraint the day after the October 7 massacre. Yet the PM went on to tell 9 newspapers, we wanted to ensure it made a positive difference, and I believe it did. Sometimes out of the darkest period comes a sliver of light, and there needs to be change. What warped universe is he living in? The pathway to peace has been because of Donald Trump, the only leader with the moral courage to rid Hamas out of the world, back in Israel for its war against terror, and actually put forward a plan. I mean, all you have to do is listen to the difference in rhetoric between Labor and Trump on this very issue.
I think it is always the right thing for Australia to urge restraint and the protection of civilian lives.
We condemn as a government any indiscriminate attacks and targeting of civilian infrastructure, including hospitals.
We have consistently said we wish to see de-escalation. We believe a wider regional conflict is not in the interests of any of the peoples of the region.
Whether Israeli or Palestinian, every innocent life matters.
Compare that to Donald Trump.
If those hostages aren't back, I don't want to hurt your negotiation. If they're not back by the time I get into office, all hell will break out in the Middle East. Can you elaborate? And it will not be good for Hamas, and it will not be good, frankly, for anyone. All hell will break out. I don't have to say anymore, but that's what it is.
It cuts a contrasting figure, doesn't it? Anthony Albanese and Penny Wong have been pro-Palestine from day one. Last week, we saw a pathetic conga line of leaders line up at the United Nations to recognise a Palestinian state. It was never, ever going to be anything other than a symbolic gesture and would have absolutely zero impact on any peace plan. And that's just the point. There was no plan put forward by any of those leaders for peace. All it did was reward Hamas, and now we have actual action, thanks to the strong leadership of Donald Trump. Not from the self-obsessed Albo from Australia. I don't know, perhaps he's seeking a Nobel Peace Prize himself. One thing is for sure, Anthony Albanese is all about Team Albo and Team Albo only.